Okay, in this video, I'm going to explain about the sign-in API integration with help of the MVVM repository, API services, and DIA package. So in the login screen, we have this information, the text, email, password. Using this email and password, we'll call the API. We'll get the response. So these are the steps. Again, I'm repeating those steps. In the view screen, in the sign on, okay, prepare the payload, payload, okay, using sign in request view model, sign in request model, okay. So here, this is a payload, right? So using this payload, I'm going to create a sign in view model. This is a payload. Going to create the model, sorry, model. And second one, after creating this model, request model, again, second one is implement the view model to call API through repository. The first step already we designed completed. Help of this view model, we prepare the payload and call that one method to pass this information to the view model. In this view model, call the API through the repository to API service. Okay, this is a common for any class, common for any feature. But the login, we are calling the input, we retrieve the input, and we perform the application. Coming to the get cars list, again, we call the API through the VM model, implement the API call integration, implement in the VM model. We call the repository to call the API. That repository will connect with the API service based on the request, retrieve the information again, send back to the view model. View model is verifying the logic and everything and send back to the view. Send back this way. This is a process. In this process, we will going to create a view model class and the repository abstract class. So we create a login as abstract class. In that, we need to change. Either we can directly send username and password, or else we can create a model, model request model. Through the request model also we can send. Okay. So now let's run the application. So this is a API call. To now, the base URL already we define in the API services, and API services directly assign to the base URL as a base URL. There is a DO has options. In the options base URL, one property is there. This property we are assigned the base URL. This base URL, everything base URL server related everything we created separate class. We maintained everything here. And this payload. Okay, when click on this button and click on this button, we'll get this response. This is a response, this is a request. Based on request and response, we'll create a payload for that. Okay, let's copy here, go to the JSON to dot and convert the JSON to sign in request model. So copy this one. I'll go to the model. Where is our model? Here, right? So inside the model, inside this is a request model, login request model or sign in request model. This is a request model. Come to the response. This is a response, right? So go to the Safari or Chrome, go to the JSON to dot and copy paste the response model. Response model. So we generate this information and copy this information, paste here. So, okay, so far we completed request and response model. What is the left? From the screen we need to call the API, right? So before call the API, I'm going to implement a few things in the view model. So class login view model extends change notifier. Extends change notifier. Inside the change notifier, I'm going to create a constructor. Okay, login view model. This is a constructor. Okay, inside the constructor, I'm going to pass the repository repository as a field. So we have the login repository abstract class. So for this login repository, create a property login repository, or we can take any name. This repository I will put in the constructor. This is a required. So once done this one, wherever you use the next, this is a C. Already we create a repository abstract class, and this is a method abstract methods, and this is a payload. Okay, dynamic payload. Okay, so this is will implement in the here. Okay, same thing. Let's delete and get it again. Okay, override. Let's delete. Let's delete this one for now. So for now, only consent on the login repository. This is a method. This method we are implemented here. From here, we'll call the API to the API service. I will come back to again here. Let's complete something in the something left in the view model. So we create a login view model. In the login view model, we create a property called login repository. That property we are defining the login view model in the constructor. Use the required key on. Wherever you use the login view model, when creating the object for the login view model, we need to pass the repository as a object. Here, what is the response? Here, need to call the login API. Login API. In the login API, the request and response is there. Okay, what is the response is? What is the response is? Sign in response model. This is sign in request model. Okay, model. This is a parameter we are taking like sign in request model, and this is a return type. Here we need to call the API through the this repository. So what is the repository? Try catch final response equal to avoid sync avoid repository dot login. Clear? In the login, pass the payload to the to JSON. That's it. We done that. After getting the response, convert into sign in response model. Okay, model data. Okay, sign in response, right? Is request. Sorry. Sign in response model. Sign in response model dot from JSON response dot data. Okay, this is the data we are getting from the API, and return this information as a information. Done. And the catch block also will give, we need to return something else. Okay, so I need to return something like this. Sign in response model, and here yes, error is there. If we come to the catch block, we consider as error. I'm going to send something different. Okay, so if it's error, we'll show something like invalid uh, something like error, server error, or unable to load, and some other errors will display on the screen to help of this catch. So whatever is found in the catch, that is we retrieving there. If is error, or else if is no error, we'll send this response to back. So this response will use in the login screen. Okay, so we completed the login view model. We created all the things required as per the requirement. We done the login, some part in the login view model. If you go to the repository, come to the repository. In the repository implementation, we need to call the API. Okay, and response is a dynamic. So here call the API help of the API service. Okay, API services. Let me take a final. Here we'll call the request. Okay, API service dot. Okay, what is the request? Request is post API call. Path is server constant dot. Okay, so there is no sign in. Okay, let's create a sign in URL here, sign in endpoint. Copy, sign in up to here. I can call it as sign in or login. Okay, don't confuse this. Okay, this is the endpoint. This endpoint I will use here. Okay, sign in. Now what is the data? What you are getting the payload? That payload we are passing to the API services. This API services is to call the API and response and back to the repository. Okay. So this repository, after getting the response from the API services, this repository send the back information to the view model. This view model, after retrieving the information, this message will send back to the screen, login screen, wherever you required. But till now we didn't implement any method. Let's create a method. Okay, or login action or whatever it is. You can take anything. Okay, login action. This action I will call inside the button. Okay, where is that? Here is a button, login button, right? Let's remove this one. Login action. If a successfully user is login, I will tell you what is the what I need to do here. So for now, let's comment this one. Okay, in the login action, we have to prepare the payload. Okay, what is this? Sign in request model. Okay, request model equal to sign in request model. Sign in request model. In this model, create the payload. Email we are getting from the email text field text, comma, and password control text. Okay, this is a request model. This request model will pass to the view model. In the view model, call the API to repository service. Here, response, or you can take anything. Await method. If it's an await method, change it to async await. Okay, before that, let's get the provider here. In the provider, we'll call that. Okay, so the provider is login view model. Okay, model, the view model equal to provider of context. Here what is the provider is login view model, right? That is a view model. Listen false. Now using the view model, call the API login API, right? Login API. In this API, pass the request model. So you can in the login API, is call the API and send call the repository call to API services, and this this is a flow is common for any feature. Okay, any feature is communicated to view model to repository to API services. In the login screen, cache that information. Okay, if okay, so after login response, we need to cache the response from the API, right? So response equal to await, call the method, right? The response is a sign in request model, right? Sign in request model. This is a request model response. So response, if response dot error, if error equal to false, okay, if error is a false, navigate to home screen, okay, navigate to home screen. If is successfully user is login, it send the response we are getting from the API is a false. If his error is there, show the alert. That alert is, we can copy the code from the sign up. Alert is, what is the alert? What is the return message is coming from the API? For example, we are get a successful response from the API. For example, let me change the password. I remove actual password is 123456. I pass the 1234. Okay. Now you'll get some error message here. Let's see what error message will display here. What is the error? Invalid email and password. So error is true. Okay, we got error is equal true. So that's why a response dot error is not equal to false means true. That case, show the alert message. Show alert message. Okay. So if response is a response dot error is not false, okay, if it is not false, so it is equal to false means we have successfully logged into the user, will navigate to the home screen. This is the total login the user and navigate to the home screen as per our requirement. Okay, so here small pending is there. What is the pending is there? In the main dot we are not define the the view model. Okay, so that view model, what is the view model is login view model and pass the login repository implementation. Okay, so this part is done and view model done, login screen part is done, only the alert message is pending. Okay, let's copy the code from the, or else we can show the snack bar also. Okay, so how we implement the snack bar in the other projects. We can show the snack bar also here. Okay, snack bar scaffold snack. Okay, scaffold messenger dot off dot context. If is a hide already is there, hide the current snack bar and call the snow snack bar. In the snack bar content, what is the content you are going to pass? That content in the display here. That's it. Okay, so here now you can see the content may be what is the response dot message. That message we are displaying the as a content. Okay, response dot mass response dot we are not retrieve any message. Okay, this is success. Okay, I think in this, okay, so if is a failure, okay, right. So I think in the response not contain the, let's see, statically put some message invalid username and password. Okay, let's put a constant. Okay, so if his response is true, error is true, show the error message here, or else we'll navigate to the home screen. Okay, let's run the program. And one thing I forget that So before API call, show the loader. Okay, loader widget dot show loader. After getting the response, you have to hide the loader. Loader dot hide loader. Okay, so let's call the API. Okay, this is a simulator. Open the simulator. What is the username password? Let's say Mahesh at example.com. Mahesh. Okay, again the issue with the what overlap by keyboard because of, so this is overlapped on the keyboard is overlapped on the text field. So because of it's not enable the scroll. Go to the login screen. I need to enable add the scroll single scroll on the top of the wrap the column with the single child scroll view. Okay, so single child scroll view. Now again run the application. Now go here. Yeah, 1 second. Application launched. Yeah, the first screen login screen. Now see, there is no issue with the, but we can easily enter the information. Mahesh at example.com. Password is 123456. Okay, when I click on the login, see loader is added on the screen. It's called the API. It's calling the API. Yeah, it's getting the issue with invalid username and password. I don't know. The snack bar is visible, right? Did you observe in the below? Maybe that username password I'm entering the wrong, I think. For this case, we can add a background color of this scaffold is a red color.
మొబైల్లో
We
కనెక్ట్
can
అయ్యండి
easily
ఇందాక
identify that.
ల్యాప్టాప్ చేసాను.
Okay, so now we got a response with the API. It's invalid username password. I don't know which API I'm calling, which payload. I need to verify in the response. You can observe here we have the one URL here. Okay, the debug URL. We can verify the debug URL. Okay, instead of the put in the debug which request we are sending the API, go to the network tab. Go to the network tab. We can easily identify which request we are calling to the server. When I click on the login, we call the API, right? Post call. Now you can observe here. This is the request. This is a response. We got a invalid email and password. Into the request, what request we are going to send? Mahesh at example.com 123456. Okay, but here is Mahesh Y. Okay, that is a differentiation. I'm entering the wrong email and password. That's why it's getting the user is not able to log in. Okay, when I try to change the Mahesh exactly email and password, what are the actual email and password? If I try to use that and I click on the login, we can easily it's navigate to the which screen? Home screen. Clear? Right? So now you can see the payload also, which API you are calling, yes, which response you are getting. Okay, and here also next after that which API is called, what is the response is coming. Okay, to help of this URL, help of the dev tool debugger and profile on iPhone is available. This message is display here, right? Help of this URL, we can without debugging also we can easily identify the which API is calling through the network tab. This is very important. You can easily identify the what request you are sending, what is the response is coming. You can easily check here. How we are checking in the inspector network tab in the Chrome web application. Similar like mobile also in the Flutter is provide this URL. Okay, so we successfully implement the sign in, and after successfully sign in, it's navigate to the home page. And so if his user is invalid and invalid, okay, so that is not entering the home page because of that is invalid. That message also will display here. Okay, now we successfully logged in. if you try to run the application again, or else you kill the application, it open the same application as per the regular application, it should navigate to the home page, but it's navigate to the again the sign in page. Okay, for that we need to handle the, we need to check the condition, the authenticate or not. Okay, that, okay, that will cover in the next video.